8s and 9s. This one's going to be helpful. This is going to be helpful for both the 8 and the 9 to see how much they have in common with these types that they think are so different.
Yeah, who are, I would say, are very different. Are very, very different.
Fair.
But, yes. So, we're in the body triad now, the things that these numbers share. You're in the doing center, and you have an external direction of anger. And what that means is that you both think that your agency can be taken away by something outside of you, right? You both share that kind of inherent belief.
It's really well said.
And so the word that I picked for this space in between 8 and 9 is guarded, because believing that something outside of you can come and take away your agency puts you on guard, I think. And I actually think I experience both 8s and 9s as guarded sometimes. 9s do such a lovely job of making you love them that it doesn't always come across. But I think if you really know a 9, like Jace and my sister Elena, because I know them very well, I can notice in certain situations when they're more guarded. And if you didn't know them as well, maybe you wouldn't pick up on it. But 9s absolutely walk around. We say 9s walk around with an internal and external boundary. And we're talking about that external boundary here, right? So I said in my little notes, I said this space is being guarded against others and what they want you to do. And it's a reaction against the world. Although both numbers choose a different reaction. 8s challenge and 9s withdraw. But you're both reacting to something outside of you that's trying to get you to do something, right? And then my last little note, it's constantly being aware of the world and what the world wants from you, and balancing whether or not that is something you're willing to give. That is what I see in 8 and 9. It's this constant balance of what is the world asking from me and do I want to do it? And then they just have a very different reaction based, if the answer is yes or no, they're going to have very, very different reactions, 8s versus 9s. But I think the thought process is kind of the same.
In terms of guardedness, the words that I had down were withhold and resistant, which have a similar effect and quality in my mind. But the resistant in particular for the 8, the 9 is guarded through that.
9s are resistant.
Though, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I should say that both 8s and 9s are resistant, and the resistance comes forth in different ways. I think it's invisible in 9s for some of us because it is done with a withholding posture. We didn't realize that this person was actually pushing against what we wanted.
Right. Well, but if a person's doing repressed and then they're resisting by also not doing anything, that looks the same. So you don't know that they're unless you know them, you don't know that they're actively resisting because it just looks like the rest of the time.
Wait a second.
I love you, 9s. I love you.
Very different gear.
But I imagine that's why people don't pick up on it, right? Because it's hard to tell, unless you know a 9, it's hard to tell if they're not doing anything just because that's their kind of natural way of being in the world, or if they're not doing anything because they're like, man, screw you, I'm not doing that. Because they're also never going to say that. So.
God, impossible to read sometimes. Just, dude, your poker face is tremendous. The complementing that is how space conscious 8s and 9s are. Their physicality, they're very aware of their physicality and very aware again of external demands on them. More than anyone else, actually, I bet 8s and 9s are hyper aware of when other people have expectations for what they're going to do.
Yes. That's that whole external direction of anger, external direction of seeking for agency, seeking agency, all the things.
And that's the fruit for sure. I think 8s and 9s are the most stubborn of the numbers. And I say that as a self-conscious one that is doing an evaluation before I say that, but
well, cause it's hard to be, 1s are stubborn because you're in the body triad, but you're a responsive doer.
Yes.
And so you might get angry about being made to do something, but you're going to do it. Like 8s and 9s can literally just never do it.
Correct.
Because they don't have that responsive doing part to them. So I absolutely agree. I mean, I would, is one stubborn? Sure. But you kind of have this saving grace that 8s and 9s don't have.
We can become compliant, and I say that with self-awareness that I don't like that word, but it can happen. Just not a discovery, but I haven't heard anyone else say this, but it's just obvious to me how unaffected by shame these two types are.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. That's probably been one of the most healing things about Jace for me, is being partnered with somebody who just like is not ashamed of.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he just, and what I mean by that is that what that looks like in real life is that they're not connecting their value as a person to the things they do, right? 9s absolutely deal with this, you know, struggling for their purpose and what am I here for? And am I just going to let my life happen to me? But that's different than shame and like your value as a person and like your soul. So I totally agree. That they don't have that it's hard to shame these two people.
I totally spun this and put it in my category as a negative. And you were exactly right to put this as a positive.
Yeah. Well, well, again, that goes with I don't think shame is ever positive, right?
Yeah.
My little opinion there. So I think it's always good to not be connected to shame. Is it good to be, like we just talked about with the 7 and 8s, is it good to be always wanting more and steamrolling people and all the things? No, but I don't think that's connected to shame. I just think that's connected to, I think that's a bunch of other stuff.
Positives. 8s and 9s, when they're on teams, commonly, especially when they're not the leaders, are going to have a heavy investment in team cohesion. I always see 8s in teams when they're functioning like just at a high level, generally just want a dynamic there of we're in this together, and 9s do as well. Do from very different places, but in terms of like their heart, that just strikes me as a dominant kind of for those folks in team elements.
And I think again, because they don't have shame or like ego attached to much of what they do, like they're not doing it for themselves. They really are doing it for the team, right?
Yes.
Or for something else, but they're not doing it for themselves.
Right.
Right. 8s. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. I agree.
Well, there's the opposite of shame. It's that because because the ego's not involved, they're going for something else. What are you going for? They're going for the somatic, visceral experience of what we're doing and just the delight that comes in that space. That doesn't have to do at all with anyone else's opinion of me. I'm doing it because of how fueling that experience is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of saying it.
These types act with confidence when they act. When they act with a lot of confidence in my experience.
I think 9s can get to a place of high confidence if they've had about 2 years to think about what they're going to do. Just kidding. That was an over exaggeration. But
are they acting? Then apparently,
I guess that's
2 years
like,
has transpired.
I guess it is true. So I'm thinking about Jace and like all his decisions. So he has to make it work, and if he has to make a big decision, and how long it takes him to get there. Jace, if you're listening to this, I love you. But how long it takes him to get there. But I guess once he does get there, he's there.
Correct.
And that's internally processing to me as well. Like 4, 5s, and 9s, they're all going to need to feel okay within themselves before they choose to act. So he's never going to do something. If no one's pushing him to get somewhere and he truly gets somewhere all on his own time, then I do think he has the confidence to do it. I think I imagine what happens with 9s a lot of the time is that other people are tired of waiting, and so they push the 9 into something before the 9 does it. So I see 9s sometimes do something they're not confident in, but I wonder if that's because they've been pushed to it and not being able to take their own time. So maybe you're right as I'm talking myself into and out of this. I do think you're right. I just think the time it takes between these two numbers is the most different on the Enneagram. Like 8s are the
True.
fastest and 9s are the slowest in terms of processing speed. But yeah.
That's exactly right. And I suppose that's the buzzword here is that when they act, so 9s act last, but when the action comes, it's been thought through.
Yeah. And that's right action. That's their virtue, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was the case with your relationship, but what I saw with TJ, especially when he proposed to his now wife, Joni, they had dated for 8 years. And it was a common question, I'm sure from Joni in particular, of when things might move forward.
Yeah.
When TJ decided to propose, he did so in front of 40 people. And he did so thoughtfully and with all the confidence in the world that this was what he was going to do. He's going to do it beautifully, elegantly, and with a high degree of class. And I suppose that's the acting with confidence.
Yes. Okay. Sign off. I agree.
I think that as you were saying, I think when forced into action, that can be different.
Yeah.
So you will also see TJ struggles more than anybody I've ever known with public speaking. His entire body shuts down apparently, and there is no confidence prior to acting because he hasn't gotten his head around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a good point.
Thoughtful first on that front. If you were to look at the Enneagram symbol, you would notice that the 8 in moving into stress goes to 5, and the 1 when moving into stress goes to 4. They both withdraw in stress. I consistently confuse my stress move with my wing because both of them move into spaces of withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that with 8s as well, that I don't know if it's a stress move or it's a wing move, or if it's complementary, if they're kind of like just trying to find their way in the world.
I've heard Joey Shuey talk about stress feels like she gets to leave the room finally. And she collects all her things and she takes some time to herself and then she can come back out into the world. And I think the collecting all of her things is important, right? As someone who does go into stress, I don't feel like I'm like collecting anything. I just feel like I like turn off for a second. Right? Because I think that's what 9's doing. 5s are that resource guarding stress move, right? 9 is the completely turn yourself off stress move. So I don't know. I also don't know if you feel yourself like moving. I don't really know if that's a wing move. I feel like your wing just kind of influences you a little bit while you're in your core number. I don't think you like move into your wing.
It's a great thought.
I've never said that out loud, and I'll have to think about that a little more. But, you know, if you feel like you are acting fundamentally different, that's probably a stress or security move. Because that's the hard wiring of how your number works.
That's correct. Yeah, you're shutting down your motive if you move into stress for the most part.
Yeah.
It's good. I feel like I have something more to say there, and I don't. The big thing with 8s and 9s is just the richness of the body center needs to get elevated when talking about the similarities here. It's also the case, like 8s and 9s, though, like they can be the most opposite, but I know so many 8-9 couples of all things.
Yeah.
And the complementary
Actually,
nature of these. Yeah. And I know a lot of 9-1 couples as well. So there's something about knowing, especially if you're going to be in a, share a domestic environment. That's the unspokenness of, I get it. I get what you need space-wise and you get what I need space-wise. And we never even discuss that. It's just intuitively known, you know?
Yeah. The base of how you are moving through the world is so similar.
Yeah.
That, a real partnership can be made on that probably.
All right. Last one. 9s and 1s. What you got here?
So this is just the opposite. So you're in the doing center, but now we're talking about an internal direction of anger, which means that you feel like you have to fight against yourself to be able to do what you want. And what you want to do is going to be different if you're a 9 or a 1. But the word I used for this space is self-control, because I think both 9s and 1s really struggle against themselves, and they're very guarded against themselves. And that comes out as a struggle for self-control, right? And I don't mean like lack of discipline self-control. I mean literally like being in control of yourself. And your needs and your wants are not in control of you. You are in control of you. I don't know. You probably have better words for that as a 1 than I do.
I'd build on that, like in terms of what the 9 will do when they feel like they're out of self-control is they kind of shut down, and that in and of itself is a self-controlling move.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to stop letting what's inside of me come out, right? So I'm just going to shut it all down. Yeah. I have to, what 9s and 1s, what I see is I can't let what's going on inside of me come out. I can't let that happen. Mm-hmm. And 9s, again, like we said, 8s challenge, 9 withdraw. Again, 9s are going to withdraw to have that happen. Right? They're just going to shut it all down. So nothing comes out. Nothing goes in. Nothing comes out. 1s. I mean, I'm bringing up stances. I don't know how you would say that. 1s are reactive. I don't know. What do 1s do to shut down the inner? Like, how's that relate to your stance for you?
The entirety of my energy goes toward what you were saying, towards self-control and self-discipline. The amount of energy there is, I assume, real similar to 3s feeling social pressure. I don't feel social pressure at that level. I feel like this enormous pressure from myself, that in the vocabulary that I hear from those who care about social pressure, it feels like that.
Yeah.
So I weigh myself 4 times a day. I have very detailed notes. Yeah, probably. And it's about the self-reference. That is my processing center. My processing center is action-oriented, and the primary action that I am seeking to execute in the world is something about moving my own self forward. And so the standards, are you okay in the world, is not based on other people's opinions. Are you okay in the world is based entirely on these manufactured standards that I put forth for myself. So self-control has that element to it. The earning looks like that for me. So that's why I'm not compliant all the time, because unless you say you're compliant to your super ego,
right?
What I am is, and I would be real curious if other 1s feel this way. Like if like you have standards for yourself, where are those standards coming from? Can you name why you have those standards? Like, why does body weight matter? Right. So anyway, but the struggle for self-control, spot on.
I've always heard that like eating disorders and like exercise disorders land in 1. If you had to pick, like obviously anybody can get them, right? But if you had to pick a number, it would be 1, because it is all about the control over yourself.
The thing is, and I would share that intuition, and then I would be curious if we were to look at 6s who are in abusive relationships. I could see a 6 getting real skinny because they're partnered with a terrible human being who's giving them messages. Yeah.
I mean, I can see any reactive, like I'll put 2, you know what I mean? Again, that could happen for a lot of reasons. I could see we could come up with a reason for all numbers to go through that stuff, but that's just what I've always heard.
Behavior though. No.
Another thing I want to say about this self-control is that one of the ways I experience this in both 9s and 1s, and it comes out in a little bit of a different way, but like wanting to say the right thing. And what I mean by that is not necessarily like the morally right thing, but I see 9s, I'm thinking especially of Jace, like he won't just kind of talk out loud until he gets to the point he wants to make. Like, it's very important for him for what he says to represent himself well. And I see that in ones as well, because it's just this self-control. Like, I want to say the right thing, right? And I want the right thing to come out of me. And I don't want to let all this other stuff out. I want to let the right thing out. And so that's what I see. Like, I see 9s and 1s often when they're talking about something difficult, they pause and you can see them thinking, and they won't say something until they kind of come up with exactly what they want to say. This is a little different again, because 1s can be verbal processors doing that thing. But I see 9s and 1s do that. That's like one character behavior trait that I see in 9s and 1s, is this kind of pausing and waiting until the right words come to them.
Joey Shuey, in her fantastic new book, which I have in my hand, actually says she puts down for 1s, 2s, and 6s that they want work environments that elevate affirmation. As you're talking, what I'm hearing there is, for me, is I'm loving people the way I want to be loved. And so I want to speak into spaces that create that affirmation. She says for 5s, 4s, and 9s, they want work environments with latitude. I think for the 9 on the language side, they don't want to be disconnected, as was said before. Yeah. Language, I think 8s, 9s, and 1s, but 9s and 1s in particular, I think they understand just how powerful language can be.
I think so too.
In their connection with other people. So I'll verbally process and not be self-critical about it afterwards, unless it's the case that I know I said something that may have been misconstrued and do damage to the relationship.
Yeah. Jace really, really struggles with that too.
He verbally processes?
No, he struggles if he felt like he said something that broke something.
Right. Bang.
Yeah.
For 9s, the insistence on not getting in verbal fights is severe, in my experience. That there really has to be something that's pushed. And then the 9 generally has a difficult time expressing themselves if they amp up to that level.
Well, they just have so many other options before they're in a verbal fight with you. You know what I mean?
That's true.
There's so many exit points up until you start actually yelling at somebody, and the 9 is just going to take all of them. Is what I see. So
no, exactly right. Both these types, I suppose the big idea being, really understand the power of words and really desire connection with others. Mm-hmm. 1's in an idealistic way. 9's, it's just that somatic, intuitive. That's a primary.
Yeah. And so if we're saying all 3 of these numbers really, want connection, everybody wants connection with people, right? 9s and 1s are going to feel like something can come from inside of them that's going to break that relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Again, like it can break what they want in the world, how they want to act in the world, all the things. That thing can come from inside of them. So they have to be, on guarded, if you will, against.
Big difference here between the intuitive center and the emotional center. The feeling center has so much relational dynamic to it in terms of what you say it, how you present. I'm sure you could put better language to this than me. The intuitive side, I just want to say, like, words don't have to have any content. I can say things in a way that communicates without the words having any meaning at all. Like how I present the language moves. Or when I speak, my goal isn't necessarily to connect with your heart, quote unquote. My goal with my language is to connect with you at more of a somatic level. It's just another tool there. Anyway, I think that 9s have that in abundance because the method, the manner by which they speak. Like 9s can start speaking and you just all of a sudden say, I think I just, I took a bong hit. Like I feel so much better now. This person is speaking right now. There's something to the 9 that has that quality.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel when my sister, again, this is a sister thing too. It's not just because she's a 9, but like when my sister starts really talking to me, one, because 9s don't actually often just like talk at you a lot, right? So when my sister just starts talking at me and like telling me things, I feel physically relaxed. Like when she starts doing that. And I don't, again, it's hard to put your finger on it, but it's different than when other people talk. Jace too.
Benefit for you on both those fronts. It's elevating your high side stress move. Yeah. They live there and can communicate out of that space. Right. It's very helpful. Positives for me on this pairing is that they are aware of disruption, I think, before others in the intuitive sense. And so like you'll see the energy of 9s and 1s when, again, intuitively understanding that things are broken, they actually begin moving toward repair, moving towards, I think repair would actually work for both types. I think these types absorb other people's emotions, especially their negative emotions. I think that 9s and 1s can take in a lot of negativity from the world and kind of hold it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to let it back out again, right? Because they have that internal wall. Yep. They're not going to let anything bad inside of them come back out. So if they're taking in something negative, they're certainly not going to put that back out into the world. You know, that's a good point.
Strong drive for consensus for the most part. I think 1s can come across as they're overly idealistic and see the right wrongness. My experience of a lot of 1s is that is a gear for sure. But there is an underlying strong preference for us all to be on the same page.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the wheelhouse for the 9 for sure.
Well, you don't have that independent, I'll just go do my own thing, right? Like you do want everybody on the same page. You want the environment to feel good. You know what I mean? You don't have the ability, for better or for worse. I do think this is a good thing. I agree that this should be in the positive. To just say, well, screw you guys. Yeah. Right? That's good. That's a good thing, I think.
One of the last numbers, 9s and 1s, to say, well, screw you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
That can be a positive. That can also be a real negative for these types.
I think it'd be a positive for your relationships. It can be a negative for you.
Yes. Right?
You know.
We already talked about both these types desiring less conflict, but there's something about, here's my last positive, is that there's something about the stability that comes with highly principled people that can really be valuable, especially when the world's on fire. And just the ability of 9s and 1s to push into something like, here's the high ideal principle. What is it that has some base? What has some body that's worth connecting my mind and heart to? 1s, I think, do that much more with quote unquote principles. 9s can do that much more with, like, I see a lot of 9s who are very mystical in their posture in the world. And they're like, this is the thing that has weight. Yeah. And we simply need to go together and take the bread and wine. We need to go together and pause and say the prayers. We need to go together and do the mystical thing that will create the sense of stability for us all. I see something in those types.
I experience 9s as very solid people.
Yeah.
Like, just maybe not always in what they want, but just like the way that they are in the world is very solid to me. You know, I'm thinking of like Joe Stabile. Like, he's a 9 and was in the Catholic Church forever and like was a priest, and he's one of the most, the Stabile family will joke when he walks around, he like walks with priest walk. And it's just this like very solid, not rushed, even way of walking through the world. And like, if you just extrapolate that to all of life, like that is how I experience a lot of 9s actually. Yeah. It's just this kind of solid sense. And I agree with you that 1s are there as well. Because you do have that kind of moral ideal way of looking at the world.
That's what
Great.
I got. Exploration of the similarities between the types. Learned a lot out of this. I really enjoyed this series. Next time we might pick up a little bit more discussion on wings, or who knows what
Something
we're gonna do
else.
next. If you have suggestions,
Please let us know.
in the comment section, throw out some suggestions for things that we should talk about this year. Well, you're a delight.
You are. Thanks, everyone.
Somebody told me that if you look close